Okay, if you've been following any of our special election results, some of them have been a little disappointing, and we've got a gentleman that's going to come up and talk about that. Over in Rockingham 14, we had a primary. It didn't come out exactly the way we thought it was going to be. So we're going to bring up MaxAbramson. He's going to talk about that right now. And Max, there you are. MaxAbramson, right?
The latest news story as reported on CNN states Democrats put pressure on Wiener. I don't know what's in for their agenda, but that must be worse than the transgender bathroom bill. Looks like they didn't put quite enough pressure on Wiener. It took them quite a while to take a hint. My name is MaxAbramson. I'm a member of my town's budget committee, speaking on my own behalf about the need to encourage other fiscal conservatives to run for local office. I was also a candidate in the recent special election primary, and taxpayers in my district watched hundreds of public employees, Democrats and unions cross over to select a liberal Democrat in our Republican primary. That Democrat was a union firefighter who has voted only twice in the last 10 elections. And we don't know very many of his positions on issues, but the positions we do know, he's always taken a liberal position on every issue. He had the NEA, the police and firefighters backing him up, and those are the people who turned out in numbers to make him the Republican candidate, even though it was almost all Democrats showing up and putting him in. So right now we have a three-way race with two liberal Democrats and one conservative who's running as a libertarian. But I'm still on the budget committee, and there are going to be some tough questions for the public employees during the budget process regarding public vehicles being used to transport their members to the polls, including quite a few who showed up from out of the state.
How are you?
Each year, hundreds of busybodies and cronies get elected to local planning boards, school boards, budget committees, and other positions, simply because there is no one to run against them. Some months ago, we celebrated Veterans Day, remembering those who served so beautifully, the 10 million who fought to preserve our civil liberties and our way of life. In recent weeks, we celebrated Memorial Day. Remember those who fought so valiantly, the 1 million who will never make it back. In recent days, we celebrated Independence Day, recalling 2 centuries of history of a nation that values its freedoms above all other things. Because these brave men and women fought, because they served, because they risked everything for the people back home. So we too must extend our efforts for the preservation of our flag and all that it represents. White for independence, blue to represent freedom, and red for justice. Their call to duty is our call to duty, so their cause is our cause, patriotism. So many of you who so honorably serve your country or your community, and many of your kindred bear the physical and emotional scars that never completely heal. So many have volunteered for community service and served in offices that are ignored by the media, where there is little thanks.
She's very active
Yet we are confronted by a political coalition of public sector unions, opportunistic lawyers, proprietary bid contractors, and other interests who see public service not as a service to the community, but as an opportunity for personal gain at the expense of the rest of us. So many of you have already done so much for your country already, yet we know not how to spare you. We are called to service as much by devotion to country as but by what we are seeing going on inside the system. We agree to serve in a local capacity, appointed or elected offices that will never gain notoriety and may never show thanks, but which nonetheless allows us to cast a light of truth on the public expenditures and public actions. From that vantage point, we have been able to expose more waste, fraud, abuse, nepotism, favoritism, and no bid contracts than we could ever hope to otherwise. So, my friends, I would ask each and every one of you to consider throwing your name in the hat for school board, zoning board, for conservation commission, for trustee, or any other unpaid position that insiders synopsis choose. Because they view it as beneath them. Quickly, well connected, we thumb their nose at such appointments in elections, but we know where the real action is. For my town's budget committee, I've been able to openly question proprietary bid contracts, nepotism, police misconduct, negligence, and outrageous overtime budgets that no private company would be caught dead with. Before us is the opportunity to accomplish more for the cause of liberty than probably anything else that you or I could achieve in this process. By getting elected to local office, which virtually any taxpayer's advocate should do, we can speak with the public, undecided legislators about matters of public policy with the experience and authority that only comes from serving an elective office. We can render endorsements and letters to the editor on behalf of other political candidates who are more for the campaign of the honest than almost through any other method. You can speak with authority on the high cost of strangulation caused by federal and state mandates on our businesses, on our towns, on our schools, on our precincts. If you have health concerns about fluoride, compulsory vaccinations, and cancer clusters around cell phone towers, the new person heads of development questions and challenges from this level. As a budget committee member, I can speak publicly about the need to improve state statutes that drive up the cost of everything from roofing contracts to crack sealing. Every small reduction in cost is an opportunity to pull our nation back from the brink of excessive taxation, just as the Romans taxed themselves. So did the British, the Spanish, the Egyptians, and even the Athenians. Given current conditions around the world cannot afford to have the sole remaining superpower collapse, leaving behind the power factor.
Very good. Very good. Here today has been good.
As a former constable and current member of law enforcement against prohibition, I can publicly discuss the high financial and human cost of this insane war on drugs and the nanny state in general. Staying in Luxembourg to decriminalize most drugs and see the reduction in Portugal decriminalized all drugs in the year 2000, seen a reduction in both crime and hate
And she will be releasing her
has been cut in half. All effectively legalized all drugs in the mid-90s, both crime and addiction rates are falling like trees. I can only really listen to it or state capital as an elected official and as a member of LEAP. In Concord, New Hampshire, I can speak to legislators about the damaging effects of Title 15 mandates on our public schools. Nearly all 50 states dictate everything from the temperature of hallways and cafeterias to the textbook, way textbooks are selected for the school day itself. Local control of our schools is almost gone. American public school system has had a hard time pushing revisionist history, sexual expression, gun control advocacy, globalism, and environmental scare videos without national and state politicians and driving costs up even higher. As a member of my town's budget committee, we were able to expose the fact that our public school district costs taxpayers $16,000 per year per student, only slightly higher than the national average. Nationally, this cost per student roughly doubles every 10 years. Until this figure was released, most voters in my town simply behaved as though nothing was too good for the children. Nothing but fancy feast and crystal glasses for the kids. And the school administrative unit had never released a per student figure under direct questioning. It was only with the school district's budget books and the enrollment figures in hand that we were able to publicize this outrageous figure and open the debate. The advocates of blank check budgeting are being outed everywhere, from letters to the editor to deliberative sessions, from public meetings to news stories. All because I spoke up at my budget committee meetings. Of course, there are officials in the teachers' unions and public sector unions who have framed the image in the minds of some members of the public that only free license to tax our residents to death can equal cash, and that tax rates will only be escalated just one more time. If that's only until next year, when we have to do it again.
I could go back and enter those.
If only government employees can get more pay raises, vacation pay, and even higher pension plans, only we could expand their $40,000 a year benefit package. They would be able to solve all of those problems that we keep encountering in our society.
I think things might be chuckles. Or it might be maybe not.
my friends, the six-figure pensions, double-dipping, no big contracts, and $2 trillion bailouts have not created a sparkling utopia in our time. And nothing will. After 45 years of the welfare warfare state, $14 billion in debt, and a higher tax burden than the World War II generation experienced, any problem that was going to be solved by government largesse would be gone right now, or it's there to stay. As reported on the June 7th edition of USA Today, the U.S. government has placed on Americans $62 trillion in debt and unfunded entitlement and pension liabilities. That's nearly $200,000 for every man, woman, and child in our country. That does not include the $3,544 in unfunded liabilities for the state pension alone. What kind of culture do we have in our political arena that's willing to drive this country to bankruptcy?
I was
last $1 billion off the backs of our country.
the leader of that.
If the government wants another $1 billion, they can go out and get a job like the rest of us.
Do you think this is an impartial group?
Well, I mean, the group itself is information database, and we'll try to promote and
Max is I've got to remind you, Max is a member of the budget committee in his town. There is no more powerful position than the budget committee in your town. So if you ever want to get involved in politics in your town, and you would like a record of being one of the smartest guys in your town, just for seeing the documents that go on a regular basis, be quiet, act liberal, and get on the budget committee. Get on the budget committee. There you go. Run on a budget.